Howard and getting ready to move into Eagleville and Blanchard. So Parvin, you're up next. Abdurrah. As we head closer into Clinton County, into Beach Creek, we're still continuing, or it looks like we have another potentially dangerous situation ongoing. So we're actually going to be tracking not one, but two tornado-warned cells that are just to the south of State College, approaching areas within Huntington into parts. There's the extension that has come into us from the National Weather Service out of Pittsburgh. So the latest coming in on our second tornado warning is into southeastern Center County, northeastern Huntington County. At 8:42, a severe thunderstorm warning that has the capabilities is moving closer into Boalsburg, just south of Center Hill, Old Fort, just outside of Center Hall, Coyer towards Siglerville and Milroy. Boalsburg just over 322 in the interchange there. Potter's Mills, 7 Mountains in Boalsburg. This will be moving through within the next couple of minutes. Spring Mills around 9 p.m. in Poe Valley State Park right around 9:10. But this is just outside of Center Hall. But Spring Mills is in the way as well. And this is our second tornado warning that has been issued by the National Weather Service. So embedded within this, we have quarter-sized hail, and this is generally speaking moving due northeast right around 30 miles per hour. And we can see not necessarily the best of pictures on these radar scans, but it's actually relatively close to our radar site. So there was just enough of a radar indication that has allowed us to see the radar indicated rotation, or allows us to see this rotation. Areas that are also included within this tornado warning include Siglerville, Barville, Tussey Mountain Ski Area, and the Pennsylvania Military Museum. And again, this is a potentially dangerous situation that we need to be providing you that information for. So right now we do have 2 active tornado warnings, at least within our viewing area, at least as of right now. So we're going to continue to provide that coverage. And again, this is moving into Mifflin County, but this is just on the southern periphery of Center County, moving into Tussey Mountain, Coiler, into Red Mill and Center Hill. This will slowly approach into Beaver Dam, Coburn, into Fiedler and Milheim. But again, this is a potentially dangerous situation. So areas that we've talked about need to take cover now. Move to that basement. Surround yourself with that most interior wall space in the lowest lying part of a sturdy building. Avoid windows, especially within that destructive thunderstorm warning closer towards Zion. This is now moving into Howard and Snydertown, our northern storm. And we still have the further cascading effect just to the south and east of State College of our second tornado warned cell. This is moving just south of Center Hall, approaching Milheim, and again into areas of Zerby, Decatur, Church Hill, Milroy, Coyer. This is just on the outside of Spring Mills, Old Fort exit off of Interstate 322. So Spring Mills, Locust Grove, Farmers Grove, Green Grove, Milheim, these are all areas that need to be seeking shelter and surrounding yourself with that most interior wall space as this severe thunderstorm warning and now tornado warned cell rolls into the area. So we have reports that are coming into us that we have seen rotation moving over towards the Bald Eagle Valley. This is coming in closer to Beach Creek, so that is pertinent information coming into us as well, at least as of this Monday evening. So this latest tornado warning will expire at 9:15, and we'll continue to provide you those updates, especially as it moves through Center County. So we're going to time this out. This is moving. We're going to try to zoom in just to get some of those towns. I'm not necessarily sure why we haven't been able to pick up on some of those towns on the local level. So we're going to draw this out, moving generally speaking at a northeast direction. And again, I'm not quite sure why that's the case. So again, I'll have to look into that for us later on. But as of right now, active weather certainly the case within Center County. You're getting in on the weather action as the first tornado warning that we were bringing you live coverage on is moving into Beech Creek and Lamar. We're going to put our velocity signatures back on. Starting to see a bit more of a better resemblance, at least just to the south of Coiler into areas just to the north and west of Milroy and Siglerville. So we are keeping an eye on this area just south and west of Red Mill and Center Hill. We also have the additional tornado warning, which is starting to, at least from appearance, lose some of its at least structure whenever it comes into our tight packing of a rotation over towards Beech Creek, Eagleville, and Lamar in through Nittany. And once that area moves into Clinton County, our sole attention will be turned to the cell that is just south into southern Center County. We still have a active severe thunderstorm warning within Huntington County. So within the next couple of scans, we could see developments within this storm. We have no reports of severe weather, but also starting to see a strengthening effect for the cells down within Bedford County. We have a flash flood warning for Somerset and Bedford County at this stage of our evening, but it has been an active day and has been an active late spring, early summer, especially with meteorological summer ongoing since June 1st. So that's where we are heading with record-setting performances on that. This area is now moving east of 322, closer towards Boalsburg and Tussieville, just outside of Tussie Mountain, east of Boalsburg. And again, it's more so this leading edge. We're going to show you back with this leading edge of the storm approaching in just south of Center Hall, but this does have areas like Red Mill, Center Hill, Old Fort, extending on 2 Spring Mills off of Route 45 into areas approaching Harder Road, Reeder Road, Mount Church Road, Old Sand Mountain Road, Pine Swamp Road into Penview, Coburn, just to the south of Milheim. You are within the tornado warning, and we do expect this to further move into a favorable environment, although the structure, whenever it comes into how things are looking for our rotation, is not as strong, and the cell that we've been watching is now slowly making its way into Clinton County. We're probably soon going to see the trimming of the tornado warning out of Center County towards the I-80 corridor, approaching into Clinton County. As this fully moves into Lamar, then our sole attention will be turned to our cell in question, at least with the tornado warned cell that is approaching southern Center County for our Monday evening. Again, I'm meteorologist Zach Petty, and we'll return you back to our regularly scheduled programming on our CBS affiliate here as soon as our severe weather and tornado warning is able to wrap up. But until then, we're going to continue to live track this with the updates coming into us from the National Weather Service, although the latest that has come in as of 8:45 that this is still into further effect, although we have seen wind gusts within our northern storm that has prompted the destructive severe thunderstorm warning tag, still exceeding the 60+ mile per hour threshold. We have reported gusts upwards of 70 miles per hour with quarter-sized hail, but we're starting to see that weaken, especially with the structure of the storm itself. And I would not be surprised if we can finally start to see some of that get trimmed, at least whenever it comes into the tornado warning up into the northern extent of Center County, approaching Clinton County. Our second iteration of the tornado warning cell down south and east of State College, south of Center Hall, approaching Zerby and Milheim, into Siglerville and Milroy, right off of 322, Route 45. A concern especially heavier pockets of precip into Linden Hall and Boalsburg. This is just south of, or this is north. The cell in question is north of Seeger Place, as well as Barville, Reedsville, Churchill. You are Milroy. You are included within the tornado warning, but and again, we're starting to see that start to fade and fizzle. So I'm just waiting to see the National Weather Service. They do not have any updates. They are still continuing through 9 and 9:15, but they are starting to cancel and pull apart some of this, some of the severe thunderstorm watches, at least within our viewing area. But our active weather is ongoing for center into northeastern Huntington County, especially with this latest development in the reissuance of a tornado warning for parts of the viewing area across central Pennsylvania. So the latest, we still have a severe thunderstorm warning for this cell within Huntington County. This is moving northeast of Huntington, approaching Ennisville, approaching Belleville, approaching Allensville, right over Donation right now in Center Union. This is a particularly dangerous situation, as well as this is moving into that favorable environment, at least whenever it comes into this cell having a history of producing damaging wind gusts, quarter-sized hail, as well as the cloud-to-ground lightning that we have numerous reports on. And this is moving into that favorable environment in through Clinton County as well. And the area that we were once concerned about, the rotation, it's still there. But that leading edge that we would have been concerned about is now moving into Clinton County. We're still going to keep a watchful eye on this for you. But whenever it comes into our southern cell, we're still watching this just south of Center Hill and Coyer, Milroy into Siglerville as well. Not seeing that tight of a gradient, but if anything, I would be saying right over towards Mount Pleasant right now, where we're starting to see just some of those areas and pixels of velocity or our rotating winds coming together and converging just south of Tussieville into areas towards Potter's Mills is where we are starting to see at least just a bit of that rotation coming together. I don't see, and again, I'm not sure that that's the best of our pictures, especially whenever it comes into our correlation coefficient, or what we would be calling our debris tracker. Most of this is, at least from Potter's Mill, these blues aren't anything that I'm overly concerned about. That's more so just the leading edge of hail, because this thunderstorm has a history of producing upwards to an inch in diameter size hail, so close to a quarter-sized hail, at least whenever it comes into what we are seeing whenever it comes into our radar reflectivity. So the cell in question, that's moving into Clinton County from 9 o'clock. I'm not overly concerned that we have much else left over, but this has moved through Blanchard, Beach Creek, and Eagleville, just over Railroad Street and Jacksonville Road towards Abdera. Earlier on this evening, our attention, just because that tighter couplet is more so down into Clinton County towards Mill Hall and Cedar Springs towards 220 right now. The area that we're more prominently concerned on now locally within Center County is going to be this leading edge as it further develops and pushes through the region. This is moving over Center Hall. This is approaching Coburn and Penn Hall, Beaver Dam, Millheim, Fiedler, and towards Siglerville. So this is your chance and opportunity now to seek shelter and get to that lowest lying part of your house, into your mobile home. Just surround yourself with the most interior wall space and just get to the most centralized part of your house as well, from Interstate 322 extending on south towards Milroy and Church Hill, Reedsville into Honey. You are also included within the tornado warning from Center Hill down into Woodland, Red Mill, Center Hill, Farmers Mills. These are all areas that we are watching as this potentially dangerous situation is developing and progressing its way into the region. So Whenever it comes into updated information, let's see if we can come up with some of that. So we still have the continuation into Clinton County, but I do expect that to either be expired or fully clear out Center County from the northern cell of I-80, at least whenever it comes into the tornado warning to our north. And the southern storm still has enough of those ingredients necessary. And again, so the latest that has come in as expected, so we'll return you to a rather large view whenever the tornado warning that initially brought us on the airwaves moves into Clinton County. They will expire this tornado warning in through Center County, and this will now just be a severe thunderstorm warning for Lycoming and Clinton County. So then our attention can now be turned fully to what's going on with rounds of moderate to heavy rain, cloud to ground lightning that has led to flooding concerns throughout the valley. We still have areas approaching Zerby and Beaver Dam, Coburn and Millheim, into areas just outside of Route 45 within Center County. So these are all concerns that we have as well whenever it comes into where this is aligning itself on. So from 322, we continue through parts of 45. This is approaching your Reeds Gap State Park, Bald Eagle State Park, White Mountain Wild area. This is just to the west of Snyder Middlesworth Natural area, as well as this approaches into areas within Beavertown and Bannerville. So these are just some of the towns that we are able to look at least on a different map for you for just how we are tracking this, extending on into areas of Spring Mills, as well with Earlestown Road and Route 45 being one of those line of demarcations through Millheim and Aaronsburg and to Woodward, outside of Coburn into Fiedler as well. So we still have an ongoing tornado warned cell that will continue on through 9:15 at 9 o'clock, and I do expect this to at least the tornado warning to the northeastern extent of Center County to expire. But areas that we are most concerned about right now still develop into and again, we're starting to see just right over or just between Potter's Mills and Mount Pleasant. This would be the area that I would, generally speaking, be the most concerned on, since that's our tightest rotation. I'm not necessarily convinced we're seeing much anything just to the north and west of Churchill, but the area circled right over Route 322 from Mount Pleasant up between Mount Pleasant and Potter's Mills. That's the area that we have the most, that I have the most concern on, at least where we could potentially be seeing anything, just because we are getting into a rather hilly area. Although tornadoes, the myth is, oh, you can't have a tornado within the mountains or the hills. You absolutely can. Mother Nature doesn't necessarily care about the terrain. She's more so worried about the ingredients that are in play. And again, this is the leading edge. So right within this pocket from Mount Pleasant to Potter's Mills is the area that we're concerned about. But up into Locust Grove, Spring Mills, Beaver Dam, Siglerville, approaching towards Coburn, Ingleby. And again, my apologies if we are pronouncing some of these towns wrong. We're still just picking up on this area of rotation that certainly has our attention. So there's the severe thunderstorm warning that is now extended into Clinton County. So areas that we were talking about earlier for Beech Creek into Eagleville and Howard, you are now out of any warnings. You are still within a severe thunderstorm warning for Center County, but the area of concern that we now have lies for southeastern Center County, with the tornado warning that is still ongoing into 9:15, and there have been no developments, at least for this cell in question, but we do have reports of a potential funnel over this area with a rotating thunderstorm. Excuse me. So these are the areas that, of course, we've been watching and tracking for you. So from Penview, Coburn, Millheim, approaching into Beaver Dam as well, Potter's Mills. This is moving through right now. This is just to the south of Spring Mills, the area of rotation. So our pixels are not necessarily organizing themselves the best, but I'm still in further, without a doubt, saying that this is moving right over Mount Pleasant, at least at this stage of our evening, just over into Milroy, or just north of Milroy, where we are seeing our tightest couplets and potential area of rotation. So this is crossing 322 from west to east, just west of Siglerville, and we can expect this to be moving into that direction. So again, if you are within the tornado warning, and again, we'll give you the aerial view of this for you. So anywhere from the Union to Center County border for Earlystown Road or Route 45 into Aaronsburg towards Woodward, approaching the State Route 45. So these are areas that you need to be surrounding yourself and taking action now with that weather plan in place to get to the lowest lying area. And we're starting to see that in this aspect of strengthening. We're starting to see some of those brighter shades of reflectivity values getting closer to those pink colors. And anytime we see these colors, those are more so indicative of hail cores. And these are all concerns that we are having, especially within our severe weather threat that we were discussing earlier today. That cloud to ground lightning was a concern, and we have our fair share of it. Rotating thunderstorms as well as potential tornadoes. Remember, that threat was low, but as we always say, it is not fully zero, and we have seen our fair share of tornado warnings across the board. We've had at least damage coming into us from Jefferson County that we're working to gather some of those details for you. We also have the latest radar indicated cells of question for the tornado warnings within Center County. So we'll be doing some information digging and trying to get any of those photos and information. And if you have experienced, once the warnings have expired, you are able to check your property. You can email WTAJ weather at nexstar.tv with any of your photos. We would like to see that, so that way I can pass that information along to the National Weather Service in State College, and any of those information and damage reports goes directly to them. And we would appreciate any of that. You can also message me on Facebook. You can message our morning meteorologist, Caitlin Sheehan. You can also message our chief meteorologist, Mark Mancuso, as well. So whenever it comes into our weather information, we're your weather authority, and we're tracking this potentially dangerous situation as it approaches southern Center County, just over 322 and south of Route 45. Approaching or just the south and east of Center Hall, the other side of the Nittany Mountains, closer towards, or the opposite side of the mountains from Penn's Cave area as well. And again, just seeing some of this brighter reflectivity has my concern. Although the velocity scans and signatures are not as prominent and strong as what they have been a few moments ago, so I'm curious to see if we have any updates. Nothing coming into us yet from the National Weather Service, but still we are keeping a very close watchful eye on this. This tornado warning goes in through 9:15 as this approaches Mifflin County. So here's how reflectivity, at least as of right now. We are seeing some reports from local EMS personnel that they're making their way up Seven Mountains. Likely to see sustained winds in the 40 to 50 mile per hour threshold. It does seem like we do have a EMS personnel that is trying to see and track this storm as it moves over 322 in areas east of U.S. Route 322 as well as State Route 45. So this is likely south, but that most recent scan, as you just saw, those pink colors are not as organized as what they were just a few scans ago. And as Mother Nature wants to further continue, we were talking about the cell down into Bedford County. This has just been issued as a severe thunderstorm warning where wind gusts could approach the 60 mile per hour threshold. This is moving into northeastern Bedford County, likely to swing through Huntington. So airs right around Three Springs and 522 as it approaches towards the Turnpike into Shirleysburg and Adams into Mount Union, you are within a severe thunderstorm warning. But our more pertinent and prominent concern right now lies within the tornado-warned cell that is approaching Center County, at least at this stage of the forecast hour. And again, this is moving closer towards Millheim, Coburn, Camp Hieronymus, just outside of Glen Iron, which is within Union County. So either the tornado warning will expire and the area of concern will be wrapping up, or will be extending on past 9:15, with this tornado warning set to expire at 9:15 to be exact. But this still does encompass Center County, and as soon as this moves out of Center County, we can expect this to either expire, or once it moves out of Center County, we will conclude our wall-to-wall coverage and return you back to our regularly scheduled programming here on CBS. So whenever it comes into the big picture, at least with what we're watching and keeping an eye on, northeastern Bedford County, a severe thunderstorm warning. We still have severe thunderstorm warnings for the same line, I guess we can call it, probably associated within the cold front itself. I don't have my surface analysis map up to better align and delineate that, but it looks like it's just part of this outflow, or this outflow boundary, or pieces of energy that have provided and spawned enough energy to produce some of these tornadoes, especially with a southerly wind. This is interacting with some upper level winds that are blowing from the west, and that's how we are able to form our rotation, at least as of right now. But the tornado warning is likely more so up into this Beaver Dam, Siglerville area, but we will put our relative velocity, and we're actually starting to see a strengthening. So remember, just a few scans ago and a few minutes ago that we weren't necessarily seeing much in the way of radar scans. So we're actually going to turn our correlation, or our debris tracker, which is more so indicative of hail, although I don't see any of ice or hail embedded within. But that scan possibly just over Siglerville, but it's oriented not where you would want that to be. So at least whenever it comes into our area that we would be of concern about, it would be right within the circle, so aligning itself just within that little pocket just to the northwest of Siglerville, north of Honey, north of Schrader, northeast of Milroy, just to the south and east of Potter's Mills. Whenever it comes into correlation, perhaps just that little pixel could be indicative of some debris that we have just seen, at least within our most recent scan. So we're actually going to stay on at least this of a potential debris signature, but still not necessarily seeing the best organization whenever it comes into this storm itself as of recent. But within the last couple of scans, we have seen this better come together. So this area of concern is just to the north of Siglerville whenever it comes into this tornado warning for Center County. So the latest, we're waiting on another radar scan to come in. And again, this is just along the border of Mifflin and Center County, but not fully out of the realm of concern for me just yet, because this little notch has seen, at least in the last couple of radar scans, has picked up and come together just a bit more. So we're packing a bit more tight of a rotation of our winds going towards the radar site. This comes into us from the National Weather Service in State College, with the radar site being north of University Park areas as well. We also have in Innovation Park, but we also have the winds going away, or the red. That also comes into us from the National Weather Service in State College. So the area of concern is within Siglerville, within Mifflin County, but again, just along the border of Center and Mifflin County. So just south and east of Locust Grove, south and east of Potter's Mills would be the area. And again, we're starting to see perhaps a correlation coming into play. We're going to go back and forth, and it does more so look indicative, although just outside of the area of rotation that I would be at least looking at. But whenever it comes into our winds and radar meteorology, these would be the areas of concern that we have whenever it comes into where this would be. So it looks like there will be an extension of a severe thunderstorm warning for Union, Pennsylvania. And if I were to guess that the National Weather Service would be choosing to expire, although we don't necessarily have that information into us just yet, although we are approaching 9:15 when this tornado warning is set to expire as it approaches the border of Union and Center County. So areas that are clear of the tornado warning include Axman into Center Hall State College itself, although unless we're seeing any form of rotation, which we could be, I'm just curious if there would be 2 areas of rotation. So we're going to ask the National Weather Service to see what they are seeing as we approach into the time that this would be expiring. So a little bit of not necessarily the best of the picture, but the area down towards Barville is also of concern whenever it comes into our winds, although I don't necessarily have the fullest of picture whenever it comes into how things have progressed. But here's how whenever it comes into our last couple of scans, we're going to keep our polygons on. Notice the area that moves through. So the Barville area, this was down close and west of Belleville into Menno, just south and east of Ennisville. But the couplet moved over State Route 322 west of Siglerville. So that moved through a favorable area, and we've stayed with that couplet. But then just notice over into areas of Barville towards Lumber City and Churchill off of 322. We're starting to see just the return of that couplet signature as well. So we're going to return back to our precipitation, or at least how things look on radar, tracking this for you. And this leading edge further, and again, doesn't necessarily have the characteristics that you would say with that clearly defined couplet, but it does trend to at least pique the interest a bit, especially as it approaches area of Barville, Milroy, Siglerville as well. And this is south of State Route 45, approaching in through Mifflin County. And again, most of this likely riding between Mifflin and Center County. So this is more so why we are on the airwaves tracking this for you as your weather authority. Of course, I am meteorologist Zach Petty. And once this tornado warning, although we are at 9:15, just going to wait to see what we have. It looks like perhaps just the extension of a severe thunderstorm warning for right now. I'm just going to watch this just a bit before we can return you back to our regularly scheduled programming, but we'll come back on screen. We'll zoom in just to give you what we've been watching, at least over the last couple of minutes for you before we return you back to your regularly scheduled programming back here on WTAJ CBS. So the area that has been of concern more so back closer towards Milheim Center Hall, just to the north and west of Decatur. And again, another area of concern is approaching 322 within Mifflin County. So that is going to conclude our severe weather coverage, especially whenever it comes into the latest for the tornado warning. We'll return you back to WTAJ CBS. Thank you for your time and patience.